Guten Tag, Deutsch 2, hallo. Hier ist ein Video für euch über Verben mit trennbaren Vorsilben. Verbs with separable prefixes. It's like my least favorite grammar term. All right, Verben mit trennbaren Vorsilben. Now we've been working on these. We've been saying, ich habe einen Pullover an, right? I have a pullover on. Or ich ziehe einen Pullover an. I put on a pullover. We've been using these because the verb is anziehen or anhaben. And then when we use them, we break them apart. All right, in those two instances, it's very similar to English, right? I put pullover on. But in some cases, actually a lot of cases in German, it's not similar to English. Like an idea occurs to me is einfallen. Eine Idee fällt mir ein. And if we would translate that like we'd say I have something on, we would say an idea falls me in. An idea falls me in. Okay, so word for word, that makes no sense, right? The verb is einfallen. So we are going to slowly move us in the direction of being able to make sense of those. Okay, so subject, verb, object. English is a subject, verb, object language. I have a cat. Okay, I am the subject. Verb is have, and the cat is what I have. If we want to say, it's a bad example because I want to add something a time element to it. Tuesdays I have a cat. No, I always have a cat. Actually, I don't have a cat. Ich habe keine Katze. I have homework. There we go. Ich habe Hausaufgaben. I have homework. Okay, I have homework today. Okay, you could say I have homework today, or today I have homework. I have homework all quarter. Okay, you could say that, or you could say all quarter I have homework. All right, wherever you put the time, the other elements onto that sentence, like I have homework in math all quarter in math, I have homework. That I have homework unit stays the same in English. I have homework. In German, okay, so in German it doesn't. Okay, English is a subject, verb, object language. I have homework. A chunk stays like that. In German is a verb in second position language. So whatever you put first in the sentence, like on Tuesdays next week, okay, that could be the first thing in the sentence. Hey, on Tuesdays next week. And in English, you would say, I have basketball practice. In German, you would say, have I basketball practice? Because after you say that first thing, in Tuesdays next week, or I, or in the summer, or in the next town over, it doesn't have to be time. It could be a place. It could be a way of doing things, like slowly. Whatever you put first in a sentence in German, the next thing has to be the verb, the action word. Go, jump, think. Okay. Slowly think I. There you go. There's a German sentence. I think slowly. Okay. Slowly, I think, right? Is what you would say in English. In German, you have to have the verb in second position. Slowly think I. All right. So actually, this whole lesson assumes that you got that. And if you don't have that, you have to go back a little bit. That's just review. Okay. Let me know, because I've got some stuff for you can review that. We've been practicing it with Im Sommer, right? Or the seasons in the clothes that we were wearing. What we're going to talk about now is when you add even more to a sentence besides subject, verb, object. like in seasons or times or anything like that. So below it here, you see 3 sentences. Okay, the first one is just the plain old subject verb object. Ich habe ein toten Hosen T-shirt. Okay, I have a dead pants T-shirt. Dead pants. That's what Toten Hosen mean. It's a German punk band. All right, it's an old German punk band. Okay, it's like the Rolling Stones or U2 or something like that. Ich habe ein Toten Hosen T-shirt. Period. Okay, subject, verb, object. Now let's add a little bit to that. Okay, here are 2 examples. Ich habe ein Toten Hosen T-shirt an. Okay, or ich habe ein Toten Hosen T-shirt jetzt. Okay, so what are these things now we're adding on to this initial subject, verb, object phrase? An and jetzt. Okay, what are those words? What is the difference between them? How do we use them? That's where we're going with this. Okay. Now we know that an means on. I have a Toten Hosen T-shirt on, and we've learned that that's a part of a verb. The verb is anhaben, to have on. Right? Okay. The jetzt means now. I have it now. Okay. I didn't have one yesterday, but it was my birthday, and my sister got me one, so now I have a dead pants T-shirt. Ich habe ein Toten Hosen T-shirt jetzt. Jetzt is little word called an adverb. It tells you when or how or whatever you verb something. I have it now. Okay, that's called an adverb, and it's a word. It stands by itself, and you can add it anywhere in the sentence. All right. Okay. Oops. In there, I've gone over the English for those, so there you can see them. All right, now, all right. We talked about separable prefix verbs. That's what we're talking about. Sorry. We had 2 words that went on to the ends of a sentence. This one is a separable prefix. This one is not, right? Or here we go, on and jetzt. So how do you know? Okay, what can possibly go on the end of a sentence, and how can we figure out if it goes with the verb or if it means something else? What are our options? All right, here are several. Okay, here's one. Es macht Sinn. Okay, es macht Sinn. It makes sense. Machen is the verb. Okay, anyway, before I get to that, Sinn. Okay, we've got the subject. Okay, well, one of these is the subject. The verb is in second position, macht, right? The main part of the verb anyway. And so, anyway, it makes sense. Sinn, it's capitalized. What does it mean when you capitalize something in German? It means it's a person, place, or thing. It's a noun, okay? So that is not going to be part of a separable prefix. That's not going to be part of the verb because it's capitalized. All right, it makes sense. So we do not have a separable prefix here. Okay, machen is the verb. It's the whole verb. There's no other part to it. Okay, and then is a new word for us. Okay, so here's another example using machen. Ich mache meine Kühltasche auf. Kühltasche is lunch bag, right? My lunch bag. Okay, mache. So think about this. I make my lunch bag or I do my lunch bag. It doesn't make any sense, right? And then we look at auf. This little word at the end of the sentence there. When you try to make sense of the beginning of a sentence, you kind of go word for word. I make my lunch bag or I do my lunch bag, and it's not making sense. And you've got one of these little words. That's kind of your clue. There is something going on here, and that's probably part of the verb. But if you wanted to make sure, you go to Dictionary CC. You type in that little word, and if you get a whole list of things that really still don't help you make sense of it, like onto, upon, and if it's a preposition, that's also kind of a clue, then it's probably part of the verb. Okay, so there we go. Stay right there. All right. So, I make my lunch bag onto. No, you can try these out. I make my lunch bag at. No, it doesn't make sense, right? Okay. So I like to use conjugator, reverso conjugator to look these verbs up. If I have a sentence and I see this, I put in mache and I put in auf and I set it to German. Okay, with this little word. And then it comes up with aufmachen and it says ich mache auf. All right, to open. There you go. I open my lunch bag. Go to lunch. I sit down and ich mache meine Kühltasche auf. All right, the verb is aufmachen and it separates here. Okay. Another giveaway here that you've got a separable prefix is you've got a subject, a verb, and an object, and then you've just got one other little word. But you can also just have your subject, like look at this little sentence here, ich höre zu. Your subject and your verb, and then what the heck is this little thing? Ich höre zu. Okay. Höre, I hear, zu. Okay, let's go to this. Zu. To, towards, I hear towards, I hear to, I hear toward. It doesn't make any sense. And the verb is zuhören, to listen to. So if you want to say, I'm listening, you say, ich höre zu. All right. Okay, so we've got these are separable prefixes, aufmachen and zuhören. Now let's look at this one here. Die Schulkinder sprechen leise. The school children speak leise. Okay, is there such a verb as leise sprechen? Can that be, whoops, where am I going? Sorry. That was weird. All right. So let's just run this through dictionary C. Leise, quiet, or quietly, or softly. Well, that makes sense, right? The children speak quietly. Okay, and then if you really want to test it out, no. There's nothing there. Okay. All right. So they speak quietly. This is not a separable prefix verb. It's just a verb followed by a word. It's a lowercase word. That's kind of what maybe throws you off. It's not an object. It's an adverb. It tells you how you speak. Okay. Separable prefixes are not adverbs. They don't add anything like any time element or place or any like who, what, when, where, how. I don't tell you anything like that. They're just part of the verb. They maybe seem to add emotion to it, like open, auf, right? Or zu, toward. I listen toward. That sounds funny. All right, but leise is a complete word, right? And then here's another one. Ich esse zum Mittag. Okay, ich esse zu. All right, we've got something like ich höre zu, ich esse zu. But then we've got a capitalized word after that, Mittag. Okay, and right, the little word does not end the sentence. Okay, I eat zu Mittag. So how can you figure that one out? You may already know that Mittag is midday, and zu Mittag, we learned that as a phrase, means at lunchtime. Okay, but if you look up Mittag, hear that zu Mittag at noon. Let me look at context. Here's another reverso tool that I really like. All right, so we're going from German to English. There, we'll flip it. Zu Mittag. There we go, at noon, at lunch, at midday. Okay, so what this is called, what this thing is it's a prepositional phrase. Right? Prepositional phrase. It starts with zu, and these little words like zu, it seems an awful lot like a separable prefix, but then it's got a noun after it, a capitalized word. And so this whole phrase adds an element to the sentence. And it just stands kind of, the whole phrase tells you something, okay? At lunchtime, okay? We have them in English. You can say in the car, on the radio, on the wall. These little elements answer the question who, what, when, where, how, why, how. They are prepositional phrases that serve as adverbs. They tell you something about the verb, something more about the verb. Okay. And when you have them like this, zu Mittag, you can, it's at the end of the sentence. You can put it at the beginning of the sentence, the whole thing, zu Mittag. Then you need esse, right? Verb. Zu Mittag esse ich Pizza. Okay, I know I'm going to eat pizza at lunchtime. Okay. That phrase stays together and you don't, it's not, there's nothing in that phrase that you would break off or move anywhere, right? So you need to realize this zu is not part of the verb. Okay, that it goes with this noun in it. It all together, those make a little phrase. Okay. All right. So here are the sentences again. All four of those sentences we've just looked at. Es macht Sinn. Ich mache meine Kultasche auf. Die Schulkinder sprechen leise und ich esse zu Mittag. We have here examples of everything that you might want to add to a sentence besides the subject and the verb, and the object. Okay. Well, es macht Sinn, that is a subject, verb, object, period. There's nothing else there. Here we've got the separable prefix. Here we've got an adverb talking about how you speak. And here we have a phrase, a prepositional phrase that acts like an adverb, and it tells you when you eat. Okay. So just to go back to these separable prefixes, they just don't add any complete element to the sentence. They just add a little like motion or little, I don't know. It doesn't quite make sense. When you see words like that, that should be your clue that that's part of the verb. Okay. So what you can do from here is look at these sentences, and I want you to pick out which one has the separable prefix, which ones have other elements that add something to the verb, okay, and which ones are just subject, verb, object. All right, you could do that. That's, yeah. And then there are two exercises that follow up with this. There is this one, which you've probably already done at this point, okay? Practice verbs with separable prefixes. And this one, you're actually building the sentence where you kick that separable prefix to the end. There's one more exercise. It's not here yet. There's a missing slide where you are working with different verbs with separable prefix. You've got some verbs with separable prefixes and you've got some other words and you've got to kind of sort them all out. Okay, so that will really tell me if you get this. You get how you can figure out what these little words are. But there's one more, there's a couple more things that I want you to add to your bag of tricks, just in case. First of all, there is this drawing here, this diagram, I don't know, picture. All right, all of these little words are separable prefixes. If you see these, actually, and should put this up in the classroom. If you see these hanging out the end of a sentence, okay, you can start to think, aha, that goes with the verb. All right, and another thing that you can check, here's a list of some of the random verbs that you form with these, by the way. And here we have like neben is a little preposition that means near. And this it's attached here with gehen. But we've got another little word they add here. Sometimes the hin or her gets added in there too. Nebenher gehen. To go near. Nebenher gehen means to go alongside. And hinterhergehen, hinter means behind. It means to go behind, okay, to follow somebody. All right. When they add these prefixes, it gets really interesting. It gets different what the meaning is. It gets kind of creative. Vorübergehen is a really common verb. Vorübergehen, it means kind of temporarily or for the meantime or at present. Okay. It's a verb. It's a verb, and at present is not a verb. It's the verb like to be temporary. That's what it is. To be temporary, to be currently, to be. It's I'm having a hard time explaining this one. All right, let's just forget about that. But if you click this link here, if you love grammar, click here to read more. Okay, or if you're just really curious about separable prefixes, there's a great page from Dartmouth College, Dartmouth University, I'm not sure. It is a list of examples of verbs with separable prefixes. So they go by prefix: up, in alphabetical order, on, auf, aus, auseinander, bei, da. And they give you a list of all of the verbs that can be formed with that as a prefix. Okay, I love this. Sorry, I geek out about this stuff. It just fascinates me how these little words change the meaning so much. Ausbauen. Bauen means to build. Ausbauen means to build out, extend, improve, expand. Okay, auswechseln. Wechseln means to change. Aus means to change, switch out, replace. Okay, aus. Anyway, prefixes. It goes all the way down to, let's see, what have we been working with? Vorübergehen. Let's look at vorübergehen. There's four. Is it even here? Vorgehen. Vorrücken. Let me find. Oh, vorüber. Okay, these are further modifications made to vor. Vorüber. There we go. Vorübergehen, to go by. Okay. Anyway. So you could potentially, when you're trying to figure out if a verb is separable or not, let's go back to this page. Okay, die Schulkinder sprechen leise. You can look through that list and see that leise is not a prefix. But here you've got die Schul. Ich mache meine Tasche auf. You could look through auf. It's at the beginning because it's an A. There it is, auf. And this is also in alphabetical order. So aufpassen, aufmachen. There it is, to open. Okay, you could do that too. All right, when you're making sense of these words. Okay, so try those two exercises. That's all I have to say about separable prefixes. It's just really important when you're reading a sentence to be able to tell if you've got some words after the verb there, if they are part of the verb or if they stand alone. Okay, because if you're not understanding that this Ich schlafe schnell ein, if you're not understanding what this ein is doing here, you're going to really misunderstand that sentence. Okay. All right. Well, and if you do, then it's gonna open up a whole new world of German for you. This crazy world of these separable prefix verbs. All right, that's all I've got to say. Try the exercises. It's weird, but it's kind of fun too, I think. And I hope you think too. All right, mach's gut. Tschüss.